It's one of those days where every guest said yes. Doesn't usually happen that way, Kurt Helin. Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com's Kurt Helin from San Antonio.
So you're just saying I can bail? All right, I'm out. It's been good. Thanks.
First prize is one night in San Antonio. Second prize is 3 nights in San Antonio. Congratulations.
I got 5 nights in San Antonio. So
Oy vey. You're going to be traveling a little bit for the next couple of weeks. We hope if it's an exciting NBA final, it'll be a couple of weeks. I think
this one's going to go 6 or 7. I think it's going to be pretty tight.
I agree. As I said in our newest SportsWrap original that's coming out, or I will be saying in it, so I'm kind of scooping myself here. I'll just say I like the Knicks. I won't say in how many games.
No, there are a lot of very smart people picking the Knicks. They showed during the season that they have genuine matchup advantages in this. They match up better with the Spurs in some ways than the Thunder do. And it starts with simply not just OG Anunoby, but Jalen Brunson. You've got to beat the Spurs from the mid-range, because Wemby's in the paint.
Right.
And a bit of an issue. And this Knicks are a team that can do that better than most. So that, among the things they do well, that is something I think plays to their hands. That and getting some fast break points would be good.
When Mitchell Robinson's not on the floor, can Karl Anthony Towns pull Wemby away?
That is the entire goal, and you'll see some just Cat at the 5 stuff doing. Although it becomes the Josh Hart thing. Josh Hart is going to have to hit shots in this series like he did in the last one. Because I'm sure they will do the Josh Hart trick of Wemby guarding Josh Hart so he can hang near the rim. But, and he had the horrible game 1 in the last series, the Knicks won anyway. But then, and there was a bunch of people do we have to think about pulling him? And then he got hot. And so if he's got to have a game or two where he makes you come out and respect him, because that was, if you remember game 1 of the Thunder Spurs series, it took Mark Dagnall, 2 minutes to pull Isaiah Hartenstein because he couldn't space the floor out. You have to get Wemby out of the paint.
Kurt, which of these two teams has grown more since that NBA Cup final?
Ooh.
Yeah, I got you.
That's a really good question. And it's one of those things where it's one of the reasons I'm hesitant to put, every year, frankly, put much stock in regular season games, because playoff basketball is more matchup based. It's a little bit, it's different. But also teams evolve and teams grow. The funny thing is, the tempting thing is to say the Spurs, and they certainly are more battle tested and have grown a lot. But I think they've become a better version of what they were then. I think they've just kind of grown into that. The Knicks, I would say the Knicks only because, I don't want to say they're a different team, but they've really evolved. They have really bought into Mike Brown's system. You're going to see Cat as a kind of hub of the offense at points up high. And it's harder to pull off against the Spurs than it was against the Cavaliers or others. But I think you've seen them evolve into the best version of themselves. And I wasn't sure they'd get here, frankly.
Yeah, I may have buried the lead a little bit here. What's going on with Mitchell Robinson?
So everybody likes to say he broke his pinky. It turns out it's the 5th metacarpal, which for all of you non-doctors out there, some of us have had to learn this over the years. That's the bone that connects the little finger to the wrist. It's this bone.
Yeah.
That's a little different and it's going to be interesting to see what he can and can't do and what he can do in warmups, because it's not one where you can just we'll tape the fingers together, it'll be fine. It's not like you're using him for shooting and handles anyway. If it's in the hand, then catching passes and rebounding become more of an issue. And so we're going to have to see what he can do, because they need his big body out there. Remember, he had 10 offensive rebounds and was an absolute beast in that NBA Cup final.
And he was good at pushing around Wemby.
Yeah, and you've got, again, back to what we said with Hartenstein, who played, I think, as well as could be asked, right? In that 5 series, you've got to, and you're starting to already see teams start to think, why do you think Ade Mara's jumping up from Michigan's jumping up draft boards at 7-3? You've got to have him. You got to watch teams on the rise like Utah are they're not trading Walker Kessler. Mm-hmm. They know they got to have Walker Kessler and Jaren Jackson Jr. to deal with Wemby.
Kurt, which star handles the pressure better, Brunson or Wemby? I think it's Brunson, and I think, late in games in certain stretches, I think that differentiating point could really matter in this series when you're talking about two teams that are pretty closely matched.
Yeah, and I would say Brunson only in that we've seen him do it so many times, right? Like he is a clutch player of the year candidate, whatever, and he can get to his spots and hit those shots. And that said, I watched Game 7 in person, and that was a gassed Wemby who found. I mean, it's funny. Mitch Johnson said after the game that he was saved by himself by that fifth foul because it forced him to rest him for a second, and then you got the Luke Cornett block that might have been the play of the game. But if Wemby came in at the end of that game with it tight and was phenomenal. Just really on both ends. So he has it in him. I'm going to say Brunson only because we've seen Brunson do it more times.
Let me get you on the record here in the final 45 seconds. Who wins and in how many games?
It's a cop-out in a way for me. I'm picking Spurs in 6, but that's really because I believe it's either going to be Spurs in 5 or 7.
Wow.
I'm splitting the difference.
You could see 5?
I think Knicks in 6 is a real possibility.
That's the one
I think that's a real possibility, but I think either the Spurs are much better than the Knicks, and the Knicks shooting bubble bursts, and it's 5, or more likely it's 7. But Knicks and 6, it's possible, but I'm going with Spurs in 6, splitting the difference of my 2. So.
All right. Kurt Helin, Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. He'll be joining us throughout the series, joining us in the NBA Weekly. We'll have a couple of bonus questions for him for the YouTube audience. Kurt, always appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you.
Bonus. Rick Adelman passing away. You forget how great a head coach this guy was. Yeah. And a lot of it's because, he coached in the era of Pat Riley and, a lot of these great coaches that existed. Chuck Daly was sort of in that era. There were a lot of great coaches, but Rick Adelman was, and his son is obviously coaching the Nuggets right now. Rick Adelman was a hell of a coach.
It's funny, we talk so much about, and I don't want to diminish Phil Jackson in any way.
Sorry, Phil Jackson too, yeah.
Yeah, what he did, but you don't see anybody really running the triangle, maybe little pieces of it here and there in the NBA anymore. It's not really it doesn't really, I don't want to say it doesn't fit in the modern game. It would have to be very different than Phil Jackson's version of the triangle. I'm not even getting, I've read the Tex Winter book. I'm not going down that rabbit hole, but Adelman's corner offense team still run pieces up. There is still stuff from that he ran 20 years ago that's out there. And a coach who had a really impressive career despite multiple GMs trying to cut him off at the knees in Portland and other places over the course of his career. He did a phenomenal job and was a coach that just on a personal level, every time I talked to him, whether it was, a scrum or just kind of a one-on-one somewhere quickly or something, I felt like I came away smarter. He's one of those people you talk to and you just you left I'm smarter now than I was when I started this conversation.
It's funny. We always talk about players that lost out on winning titles because of the Jordan era. We forget sometimes there were so many great coaches that didn't win NBA titles as a result of the Jordan era, and Adelman's one of those guys.
Jerry Sloan, a couple of them.
I mean, Clyde Drexler, Cliff Robinson, that took a job, Porter, and those were good Blazer teams he coached.
Yeah, he coached some really good teams, and he was, the Blazers are one of those what if franchises in so many ways. I was in the building for the 2000 comeback with Shaq and Kobe throwing the lob and coming from 15 down in the fourth when, by the way, the coach and players got blamed for that. Portland just went ice cold. The real story there was they could not buy a bucket. They just call it nerves, call it streak, whatever. They just went ice cold at the wrong time.
Back on these NBA finals for a quick second. Try and give me a sense, you've been there about 24 hours or so, the sense of the buzz and the excitement, the juice in San Antonio for this series.
It's back. It's high. It's and it's interesting because before you go out and it was Tim Duncan's team, and you obviously David Parker's a Hall of Famer and Tony Parker is a Hall of Famer and showing up at and now, by the way, coaching the French under-17 team, I believe, or something on top of showing up at the Champions League final. He's tight with Henri. But they, you could go through town. It was all Ginobili jerseys. Ginobili, because I think partially because this is a fairly close to the border town, and it's a real mix of Mexican and American culture.
Yeah.
Tex-Mex kind of thing to use it culinarily, but like that culture really persists. And he spoke Spanish, like, Ginobili was a Spanish speaker from Argentina. So I think he endeared himself. You saw more of those jerseys. Not anymore, man. It's all Wemby. I mean, maybe there's some Castle and Harper out there, but this town has embraced him and embraced this team. And there's a real buzz because unlike the Knicks fans who have been like, what do we have to do to get over that next hump? How do we get there? We've been kind of close for a couple of years. This team, and I wrote about this at NBC, preseason press conference, Wemby's like, we're going to finish in the top 6, man. I don't want to go to the play-in. That's the goal. They didn't see themselves here yet. It took a season of growth for them to see themselves here. And I think the fans are caught up in that a little bit. Like they didn't, nobody saw this coming 6 months ago.
Last one real quick. Are you seeing Knicks fans in town? Are there going to be a lot of Knicks fans at the Frost on Wednesday night?
It's going to be interesting. It's not going to be Cleveland where the fans are going to bail out the same way, but it's going to be interesting to see. I have not seen a ton yet, but again, I've been here for 24 hours and have mostly seen the inside of what you're seeing behind me. Like I haven't been out that much yet.
All right. Kurt Helin, Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. We'll talk to you throughout the finals. Enjoy it, my friend. You work so hard all year. Try to enjoy it as much as you can in between all the work.
I will do that. I'll just start sending you pictures of the exotic tacos I'm having, like the duck tacos or whatever I can find.
I'm jealous. Enjoy it, my friend.
Take care, man.